No, wait a minute, think about it. No, if he'd scored that goal, what happens? We win the game 3-0. If Silva puts that chance away, we win the game 3-0. And what happened the last time we played Hertz at Hampden and beat them by 3 clear goals? We lost the final. It was a semi-final in the League Cup 2019, and we lost the final to Celtic. Aye. So we'll get Celtic waiting in this final. What happened the last time we played Hearts at Hampden? That was this season, semi-final of the League Cup. We beat them, we're 3-0 up, but we let them score a goal towards the end to make it 2 clear goals, because then we go into the final, we win it, don't we? Beat Aberdeen in the final. Last time we played them in the Scottish Cup at Hampden, 2-0 we beat them. Actually lifted the Scottish Cup that day. So Silva's thinking, if I put this away and it's 3-0, that's it, we're losing the final. I just wish other supporters would listen to me. I've got it all sussed out, just a bit cleverer, I think, than the average bear. Folk just don't. Hi folks, welcome to your Gersnet immediate post-match reaction pod, coming to you in association with Forest Precision Engineering and Football Prizes. My name's Alec Anderson, shot by both sides on their run to the outside of everything. I'm coming to you outside the National Stadium. I'm coming to you from the outside the National Stadium, Hampden Park, after Rangers beat Heart of Midlothian by 2-0 in this season's Scottish Cup semi-final, to set up an Old Firm final and to give Rangers a chance of winning their 35th Scottish Cup. And that's, I'm saying that because I can't work out, it would be a lot smoother if I said that's Rangers into their 60th Scottish Cup final. I don't know how many Scottish Cup finals we've actually reached, because we're only interested in stuff we win. That's the only stats we're bothered about. But that's a chance at winning our 35th Scottish Cup, and we had a chance at the treble. We also know exactly what season we've got, what's left for the rest of the season. We've got 5 league games and we've got a Scottish Cup final. So we now, all the variables are out the window in terms of fixtures, and it's at the end of a long, hard week. We've ended it on a proper high, losing by 1-0 in Dingwall this time last week, or earlier than this last week. Got a 0-0 up at Dens Park on Wednesday, and then that's us turned things around today. It looks like a slow progression, going from losing again by a single goal to drawing 0-0. To getting ourselves a 2-0 victory today and moving on to a chance of winning the 35th Scottish Cup. And I'm looking at the advertising, the kind of posters and all that round about the livery around about the stadium today, sponsoring the Scottish Cup, and it was saying it's 150 years of the Scottish Cup. So the Scottish Cup, that's starting the year after the FA Cup, so about 1872-1873 season. Anyway, that's 151 years. You miss out, 6 or 7 get missed out because of the Second World War. So 145 at least Scottish Cups have been played, and Rangers are trying. We've only won 34, we're trying for 35th out of 140 odds. That's absolutely ridiculous, isn't it? That's just embarrassing. That's embarrassing. They must have shat out. That's the Scottish Cup, that's the Scottish League Cup this season. We won our 28th Scottish League Cup, and yet there's been, I think that started after the Second World War, straight after the Second World War, the League Cup. I think there's been 78 League Cups played. So it's 50 of them that we've shat out. And yet we've won the League Cup more than anybody else in Scotland. The statistics, you're just going to go by the statistics. That's James Tavernier. Only 3 trophies he's lifted. And I think it gets expanded to 11 years or something like that, even though he's only been here for 9 years and one, and he was in the Championship. And in that season, the Championship, he scored our first goal of that season, an absolute belter away to Hibs, and then he was man of the match, scoring an absolute belter in the final of the Challenge Cup. And he scored the goal that sealed us the Championship, the only goal of the game against Dumbarton that put us into the top flight. But he doesn't get credit for that. If you're going to slag him for his lack of trophies during his whole career, you should also remember that John Gregg only won 2 domestic trophies and a Cup Winners' Cup, but European finals apparently don't count, in an 11-year spell between his 1964, the treble winning team, and Rangers winning the league again for the first time in 11 years maybe. We won the league in 1975. John Gregg then ends up winning another couple of trebles towards the end of his career, and a young Davy Cooper is in the team, and then Super Cooper, he was here for years. We were in a lot of League Cups and playing a lot of Scottish Cup finals, but he didn't get a league title until 1987, so he went 9 years with 0 league titles. We need to start realising what we've got in James Tavernier, and you know that I'm just saying this because I was sticking up for the leadership group, and Conor Golson got dropped today. I did say on Friday, I was on the pod with Brian, that Conor Golson definitely has been making a few mistakes, not that, but I just kind of smuggled it in there. I was generally sticking up for Lundstrom, Tav and Conor Golson, but the manager made a nice wee change today for all the doubters of people that are sick and tired with these losers that have been here for so many years. Conor Golson was dropped. That was the big news before the start of the day. Then Leon Balogun came in and just I was trying to make a sign towards him at the end as he walked past, the wee lap of honour towards the end. There's no lap of honour, just thanking the fans for turning up. But I'm trying to make a wee kind of cigar sign to him. It looked like I was probably saying, you must be on the wacky bat. I was giving it all that. Like I was trying to say, you had a joint, Leon, or something faintly racist. It probably looked like, nice one, Alec. But I was trying to say to him, you play with the cigar the day, mate. I think a lot of folk vape in the day, but I think it might actually been Leon Balogun that was responsible for so much of the smoke billowing about the old Rangers end of the day. Fantastic performance from him. Not a fantastic performance in every department from Rangers. A lot of bad finishing, final ball, really poor. A lot of times this wasn't all smooth sailing, but generally thoroughly deserved to win, and it's just great. It's just great to have us. We're back, and this is what I'm going about Tavernier, the slagging he's been taking. I'm bookmarking Rangers fans, get ready to get back at them if we win the league and if we win the treble. Still got a chance of winning the treble. It's them I'm going to get back onto. No Celtic fans this season. Some of the bile. Absolutely no problem with folk questioning the team and questioning, try to examine what's gone wrong at a certain point in time. I'm pretty clear that it's just the amount of injuries we've had this season and the constant rotation, which we saw a lot more of today as well. It's just caused things to kind of slightly come off the rails the last few games, but still a bit of a serious chance at me winning the treble. And you see Celtic struggling to get past Aberdeen on penalties yesterday. 3 points. The chances of us beating them at Parkhead definitely increased. It's like they didn't have a result that was bad enough to make them kind of have a long, hard think about themselves. They're going to try and keep stumbling on, and they'll be playing us at Parkhead in the league thinking that they only need a draw. They don't know whether to stick or twist. We're pretty clear in our ambition for that game. We've got to win the thing, and sometimes that clarity of thought can be what pushes you over the edge. So there's a lot of folk. I feel like, is it Willie White? Sorry, Wally, you're out there, and I know you complain a lot of times because it takes me about 25 minutes on these pods to get round to talking about the actual game itself. Not going to be that long a pod today, don't worry. You've all heard far too much from me in recent days. Very, very tired these days, and my pod's just going on and on, just chatting far too much. I'm just getting exhausted as we get towards the end of a very draining season. But you've got Colin and Craig and Ian will be on tonight in the main pod at 9:30, so they'll dissect this game much better than I possibly can. That's it'll not be long to that's on tonight, so I'll kind of stand aside and let the guys do the proper examination of this game. But I just feel as if it's weird. Chris Boyd's really pissed me off the other night with that wee comment towards the end as we're coming off the park. I mean, he is there to be a pundit. I can't complain about Chris Sutton being totally biased when you're then expecting Chris Boyd to do the same. But I thought the wee chippy can have, I've got 99 problems, but a pitch ain't one. That's stealing a headline. I had my blog 20 years ago. I think it was like April 2004 when Jay-Z released that song. Rick Rubin, who obviously he produced Johnny Cash as well when he was doing the Hertz, Johnny Cash, and I was over in Nashville. I'm not going to talk about the holidays, but 99 problems at pitch ain't one. A chippy wee comment kind of helping when this is Chris Boyd, who set all sorts of goal scoring records for Rangers, but the only time he scored in an Old Firm game, it was Celtic had already won the league, so it wasn't really that much, didn't really count that much. And he's making a chippy wee comment using Jay-Z, adding to that thing as far as I was concerned about the fact that Dundee had completely messed us about. I think that really did affect a rhythm that's always tenuous as the managers tried to kind of cobble together a side who had a new manager in October. A massive upheaval for them this season. So anything that's kind of ruining our rhythm is going to have an effect on us, but it ends up being our fault. We get blamed. It's that Scottish thing of, you're complaining, well, look at that, you're complaining about the pitch, but you couldn't beat it. It's a horrible thing. And there was Boydie kind of chipping in there with that wee comment, and you've also got Ali McCoist this week, who's I was away in holiday when it was all happening, but I've seen it on Twitter, him being set up. Obviously people hate the fact, die-hard or anti-Rangers people more than Celtic people. There's plenty of Celtic fans that don't have a problem with Ali, but it was almost like, he's really nice, everybody really likes him. Oh yeah, there's an excuse to twist this into Ali McCoist is evil, so we'll just say that, and it piled into him. But there was Ali, a man who only scored he's a European record goal scorer for so long, but yet the only time he scored in the Champions League, it was a dead rubber. We were already out the Champions League group stages. No, he scored in the group stages. The only 2 goals he scored, it was didn't actually count towards anything. So we get these kind of record-breaking strikers for us, and Ali also is doing a AC/DC thing. He doesn't seem to realise that there's rock music getting played in German stadiums in the 70s and 80s. Rock music has always been played in German football stadiums, but that's a nice wee moment. It's been caught on camera when he's prepping for, I think it'll be Arsenal over at Bayern Munich. He's in the Allianz Arena and he's like, that's Hell's Bells for AC/DC. They're playing absolutely brilliant. And it just made me think, Jay-Z, Boydie's referencing Jay-Z and Ali's referencing AC/DC, and probably the greatest start to a concert ever was when Jay-Z came on in Glastonbury, and the whole week there'd been all this kind of bilious stuff for Liam Gallagher about how rappers shouldn't be allowed to play Glastonbury, it should only be guitar music and all that. And I think Liam Gallagher seemed to think that, I don't know, he didn't realise it's all black American guys that had totally established, laid the roots for the music that he plays, him and his brother on Oasis. But he was complaining about Jay-Z headline in Glastonbury, and it's like, what's Jay-Z going to do here? And he comes out, Wonderwall's playing, he's got the guitar, he's playing along with it, then he goes bang right into 99 Problems. And when they go into the second verse of 99 Problems that night at Glastonbury, there's a sample, he starts sampling AC/DC, and it's Back in Black. I'm thinking, hey, there you go. That's Ali referencing AC/DC, Chris Boyd referencing Jay-Z, and the two of them came together on a Jay-Z act at Glastonbury when everybody had been poisonous in the build-up, it'd all been bitchy, it'd been ratty, and then everything. There's just he just does something special, and it brings everybody back together. Everybody feels fantastic, Jay-Z, and I think Felix Clement did the same thing today, where he dropped Conor Goldson. We could see the way Leon Balogun played today, that it's obviously him being ill during the week is the reason he didn't play at Dens Park, Leon. And that's obviously, as I was saying with Brian in the preview pod the other night, that's why we were just firing the ball forward all the way through that game up at Dens Park, because we were needing to get the ball away for Conor Goldson probably. We knew we were defensively fragile. We weren't able to solve it in the way we would have liked by bringing in Leon at that point in time. But he came in today and I thought he was absolutely fantastic, the big fella. He was tremendous, Leon Balogun. Playing with the slippers on, kind of stuff. So that was the big news of the day. I was sitting in the train from Mount Florida, met a couple of lovely guys, fans of Gersnet, or they'd certainly seen Gersnet anyway. They weren't going to say nasty about it anyway. They would have been absolute gentlemen, a couple of blue noses in the big queue that was getting worked up to get us onto the trains out to Mount Florida from Central. And I'm supposed to say, oh, thanks very much for watching that. I really appreciate that, guys. What's your names? I'll give you a wee mention tonight. But I also apologise for the Rika drink off me, guys. I've been sitting up getting bevied all night last night in the wee small stinking of drink, and I'm grabbing them by the lapels going, do you think we're going to win? Please tell me you think we're going to win, boys. I just needed somebody to reassure me, because it's been a horrible week. Kind of slight infighting, slight arguing with the Rangers supporters. We're all kind of arguing with each other. Well, I'm arguing with folk who have just been horrible towards James Tavernier, equating his lack of trophies, the lack of trophies in his time, with everything that's gone wrong with Rangers. He's a shite bag apparently, because Rangers haven't won that amount of trophies. But as I've said, there's plenty of other great Rangers that went through massive periods in their Rangers career without winning too many trophies, and they are now legends. I think we'll realise that when James Tavernier's away. This is the first time we have reached both of the domestic cup finals since 2008-2009, since Walter's days. We didn't win both of them. We won the league though that season. The previous season we won both the domestic cups, 2007-2008. We didn't win the league, and obviously we were in Manchester that season as well. But this is the kind of stuff we're getting back to now, and it slowly creeps up on you. You slowly realise, I know we're wanting trebles, and Celtic having won 5 trebles in 7 seasons, I think has stopped us being able to concentrate on what we need to do. It's going to take us longer than that. It's like when we come up through the lower leagues, I think we felt as if we're back in the top flight. That was it. Maybe take a season, but that's it. Everyone's back to normality. It was like being an Olympic sprinter, a 100-metre sprinter that broke their leg, coming back into the top flight, was just getting the stookie off. And your opponent, your rivals, they're gaining triple, quadruple the ground on you, because they're actually they've not had their legs broken. They're able to keep training, they're able to keep improving all the time. We've gone right the way back, and we're trying to claw that back. We have moments where we overachieve, we go right back to being the greatest Rangers teams of all time, winning the league totally unbeaten, setting British defensive records, and getting ourselves into European finals and stuff like that. Unbelievable. And then we have moments where we slip right back, and we have embarrassing days at Hampden, we have embarrassing days at home to Motherwell or whatever. But all in all, you've got to look at the overall momentum, and we're reaching, was it last season, we were in we're getting to Hampden, we're winning a couple of games at Hampden, we're getting to the final of the League Cup, right, semi-final of Scottish, that's not good enough. This season though, we're in the final of both tournaments. When we won the league in 21, we won the 55th league title. We didn't get to either semi-final of the major cups that season. We didn't get to Hampden at all. And here we are, just getting back to Hampden is absolutely routine. The number of terrible days we've had at Hampden in the past, kind of 10 years or so. This season's been absolutely fine so far, and touch wood, it keeps staying that way. We're getting back to normal, folks. We're still in with a chance of the treble this season, and whether we win that or not, I think we need to realise that James Tavernier has been tremendous. I know I sound like I'm obsessed with him, but I think James Tavernier, for a lot of people, sums up our underachievement. For a lot of Rangers fans, he's a symbol of. He is the symbol of our struggles in the past few years, but for them that means he is the struggles. He's the reason, that we're not winning trebles each season. But for me, he's symbolic of how we're clawing our way back. The fact that he's there, he's lifting the three truck. He has won a treble of sorts. Having won all the three major domestic trophies, he's symbolic for me of how we're getting ourselves back to normal. I kind of almost hope for his sake that he does leave this summer, so we can, if we don't win the league, if we don't win the Scottish Cup, at the end of this season, he can just get away and let us all, if we restart and we win the league next season, for example, or a few years down the line, I think we'll all come back in years to come and realise that James Tavernier was the man who helped build that base again, and it's a base we are now starting to build on. It's just a lovely feeling to be able to keep winning at Hampden. I was here 3 times last season. I'm going to be here 4 times this season. Well, depends. I take it that amateurish mob that we're playing in the final, they'll suddenly start demanding that they get half the stadium. That's always the same with these kind of wee teams. They always want a split just because they've got themselves to a cup final. But I might get back here. I don't know if my Gers will sort me out or whatever. But sorry, I'm just drinking it in. It was actually quite emotional today. The big news, as I say, I was on the train and I just heard, I go on the phone just about an hour, about 2 o'clock, I was on the train to Mount Florida. The team gets announced and you see that Connor Golson has been rested, or benched, should I say, and Leon Balogun is in to play alongside John Souttar. You also had Silva wasn't starting. We had Dugan Sterling in at left back again. So Tav obviously at right back, Jack Butland in goals. You had Todd Cantwell in the 10, and Diamandi, what a difference he made. What a massive difference. I was saying in the preview pod with Brian on Friday night, Diamandi was one loss too far in the last couple of games, and having him back today, it wasn't always silky smooth, but they cover for each other, him and Lundstrom and that sitting two in midfield, and we had Todd Cantwell at 10, Rabbi Matondo on the left hand side, and Sima on the right hand side again still, and Cyril Dessers, much derided last Sunday, missed 2 chances up at Dingle that could have won us the game last Sunday, and here he was today. Straight away, it's like we usually, the past 3 games have conceded a chance. Sometimes it's up at against Celtic at Ibrox, it was a goal. We've conceded a chance in the opening kind of 40 odd seconds. Didn't do that today at all. I noted that at the time, and then I realised Hearts suddenly looked like scoring at all for the first 2 or 3 minutes. You'd hardly get into our half, and then we were in the lead. I'm in the Rangers end up at the corners. It's B7, the section B. Airdrie pals there. But I was in that kind of sweep round the corner. It's kind of halfway between the Rangers end and the north enclosure, or the old, sorry, show my age there, the north stand. But I couldn't really see. It was quite far down, so it's a sea of legs. I don't know who put the ball through to Dessers or what really happened there, and it just looked like a sweet finish to me. I don't know if it went through the keeper's legs, the keeper's made an arse of it, or what. Not a chance to check anything back, but it was just fantastic to get a goal so early, like 5-6 minutes. We take the leads, and you think everything's going great. I'm like, Balogun's in control, he's making great tackles, we look really secure at the back. John Lundstrom stroking it about, Diamandi's running things, Sima, I really was on the left hand side obviously, but he's fantastic. This is great. And I looked at the clock and it was like it's 10 minutes gone. It's like, how much do we need a result? How desperate am I to conclude that this game has been fantastic? 15 minutes, Sima has to go off. Rabbi Matondo had already had a couple of the kind of ropey touches it would dog his performance today. And I saw Ross McCausland getting ready, and I thought, as the manager, as he decided to diagnose Matondo straight away, as he's wanting to do. Remember the Limassol game with Todd Cantwell coming off? I was hoping he was going to come on. Ross McCausland, that he would get to play on the right. Matondo would go off and Sima would go and play on the left hand side, and that would just compound our dominance at that point in the game. But it wasn't to be. I don't know what's happened with Abdallah Sima, but I am praying, even though I'm not a religious man, that it's nothing. It's just a precaution that we took him off. He kicked the old water bottle on the way up the park, on the way up the tunnel, which gives me two kind of two clues. Number one, he's fit enough to kick a water bottle, so hopefully it is all right. But it also makes you think, he's totally frustrated, so maybe he can feel that it's a long-term injury. We've not even had a chance to see him playing in the left-hand side again, Abdallah Sima, and we started, I think Jack Butland was playing high balls to Ross McCausland, thinking he was Sima for the rest of the game. Ross does well. He's very deliberate, Ross McCausland, and he runs, and a really honest player, a common sense kind of player, Ross McCausland, and I'm never worried when he comes on. But he definitely is no Abdallah Sima. That's not his fault. Rabbi Matondo was doing that thing where he would, a couple of times, he sees the ball, just kind of running in front of me, thinks, I think I'll sweep my foot across the fresh air just before the ball. Oh, the ball itself is actually going out of play. He does some weird things, makes some weird choices. Does Rabbi Matondo? He's running, he's trying, he's covering defensively at times as well. He's keeping the shape of the team and all that. But his execution today was very, very poor, very, very frustrating at times. He wasn't alone in that. And suddenly, I think I looked at the clock again, and the clock itself, I don't know if you noticed today, it was gold writing on a maroon background. And I think as Hertz, were they 1874, 1875 or something, Hertz performed, I think, have they got a 150th anniversary kit? Because I noticed there were a lot of Jambos in Central Station today. And I was like, are Motherwell playing today? Because it's like we had the gold on the kit when we got to Seville for our 150th anniversary in 2022. And maybe they're doing the same thing, but it looks like Motherwell. It's like it ended up looking like amber on claret, as opposed to gold on maroon. But I noticed that was the clock, and it just started to make me a bit apprehensive. Same colours as the referee's flag and all that. I was starting to get. I looked at the clock and I thought, that's 22 and a half minutes. We're exactly halfway through the first half. Hearts haven't had a shot on goal. And then they had a shot on goal. Went past the post. That was fine. Then I think we give it out to John Lundstrom, who gives it straight to a Hearts player. It's a corner, and they had a shot on goal. It has to go for a corner. Jack Butland, decent save, and then the ball comes in, and Jack Butland's having to make an absolute point blank world class save at a guy's feet 6 yards out. And it was like, I wish I'd never had that thought. I wish I'd never had the thought that Hearts are struggling. We've got this in the bag. It became a bit more end-to-end at that point in time. John Suter had a couple of moments a day where he gave the ball away. Generally played fantastically, obviously, but he had a couple of ropey moments. Lunny had a couple of bad balls as well. Nobody was perfect, but I thought Dujon Pottymouth Sterling, when Matondo did go off in the second half in particular, that just let Dujon do his thing. And even he was fantastic in that left. He's great at left back, and then he's pushing up, doing the overlapping and playing like an old-fashioned winger, just taking the Hearts defence, doing that flank anyway, completely out the game at times, and setting himself up for a clear run into the box. Magnificent. But even he started to try and, I think I'll just score this, I'll put this in at the back post, like Stevie Chalmers in that very same net in the 1969 Scottish Cup final. But so there was the final touch was never quite there. And it was plugging away. Are we going to get this? There's no way that game is going to end 1-0. The closer it got towards the end of the game, there was even less chance it was going to end 1-0. And I thought if Hearts equalise here, we're going to go right backwards, especially after all the stuff that's happened this week, the general bad feeling. And as I was saying to Brian the other night in the preview pod, I thought Lawrence Shankland has a kind of sign about him this season. I thought he can still cost us the league quite easily, but he looked like he's a kind of icon for Hearts just now, and thoroughly deserved as well some of the goal scoring exploits this season. And I thought I fancy him for the Scottish Cup. I can imagine him lifting the Scottish Cup this season. But it wasn't to be, and we had this. Todd Cantwell was fantastic today as well. Generally became really, really good. I think he was really hard done by a few times. Maybe reputation being put on him by certain bodies in the media, what have you. I felt as if he wasn't getting the fouls he deserved, but it doesn't stop him, and he's getting back to full fitness. He's getting that touch back, and just suddenly Todd was. He was dribbling and pushing and bobbing and weaving and slipping a body. been a hard week. It's been a hard week. He slipped that ball to Cyril Dessers, and Dessers gets saved first time, and then he takes it again. He slips it in the net, and I have rarely, this season anyway, wanted a goal more. It was lovely, and he just so happened the seat I had, I was in that wee corner that Cyril turns and runs towards, and I could quite easily have, if I hadn't been so completely hungover, run down over there and got on that park and just give him the biggest hug ever. It was lovely. That was it. Game in the bag. But then bring on. Nico Raskin. He comes on sitting in midfield. We get Diamandi off. Diamandi was great. He was just, him and Lundstrom made it work. They work. They really work together. They understand each other. He's really sharp. Tackling's fantastic. Everybody's shooting was pish the day. Everybody's final touch was awful, but he was fantastic. So even when it was like 10 minutes to go when we scored the second goal, and I'm thinking this is quite bold, taking off Diamandi, bringing on Raskin, who's not been impressing at all. We brought on Tom Lawrence for Todd Cantwell. Borna comes on, the lesser spotted Borna Barisic. She comes on for Sterling. I'm thinking, if Hearts pull one back here, we could be, you're going to get into extra time and penalties with this lot. But we were like a wee five-a-side team, and it was like a wee game of five-a-sides. And the Hearts half, after we'd gone 2-0 up, because Hearts are trying to pile forward, and we just kept catching them on the break. And Tom Lawrence looks great. He does that gliding thing across the park. He loves it. If teams are going to come at us, and he can catch them in the break, and we slipped. Silver'd come on as well, and he really puzzles me, that boy. He's obviously got the touches, he's got the speed, he's got that Portuguese thing of cynical as in, he'll win you a penalty or get a guy sent off, but he just, I don't know, I'm a bit stunned. Maybe something happened that I don't realise. Maybe somebody gave him some sort of push or something, but there didn't seem to be any appeal for a penalty. Was he more concentrating on going for a penalty than actually putting the ball in the back of the net? Dessers had a few chances, Harvey, but the one that comes up to, was he squared by Dessers? Did Dessers square him in? I'm not sure, but it was like he just had to put the ball in the back of the net for about 6 yards out, and he fell onto it and ends up like holding the ball like a rugby player. I felt it was just, it summed up the general finishing today, the final touch stuff. But all in all, Rangers were worthy winners, as they say. I'm going to go and try and burn my season ticket, obviously, because I'm really upset. And the fact Conor Golson, a member of that leadership group that I've been sticking by, was dropped today. But I'm also going to make sure I've renewed my gels in case they take that into account when I'm trying to get my ticket for the final. A good day, folks, at the end of a bad week. A much needed win. It's going to be, as I said, Craig and Colin and Ian will be on tonight. Less nonsense from them. They'll give you than they're getting from me. They'll give you the proper analysis. So please enjoy that. And caught by both sides. And I don't know. I'm quoting Magazine, quoting Jay-Z, quoting AC/DC. It's just, and that was all country and western stuff last week after my wee holiday in Nashville. So the main thing is, the most beautiful piece of music I heard today was just, "We love you, Rangers." Oh yes, we do. Standing there, is that section H? It used to be H, or was it J? When it was off terrace in the old Rangers end, the way it used to be divided up. But just standing there, because nobody was sitting in that bit. Clapping your hands above your head singing "We love you, Rangers," or "Yes we do." It's just beautiful for the soul. A lovely Sunday hymn, and you guys have a lovely Sunday night, and I'll see you next week. Thanks.